I've just uncovered what could be the next real-world asset giant in the crypto space, and the market hasn't caught on yet. One of the largest oil companies in the UAE is tokenizing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of oil using it. BlackRock is running tests on it. It's partnered with Coinbase and many more huge names. It has a clear roadmap to onboard $2 billion worth of real-world assets by early 2025. And here's the best part, it's only $100 million in market cap. The potential here is massive, especially with the real-world asset sector expecting to become one of crypto's biggest markets, according to many insiders.
Real-world assets will surpass the total value of cryptocurrencies over the next 1 to 3 years.
So sit back as I break down why real-world assets are about to be bigger than you can imagine, why CHEX is at the heart of it all, and my final price predictions on it. This video is not financial advice, read the disclaimer on screen. First, many people are underestimating just how massive the real-world asset space will become, and how fast it could tend to even 100x in size. So let me break it down. Real-world assets are on-chain tokens that represent assets in the real world. Stablecoins like USDT are technically the biggest real-world assets on-chain, but you can also put gold, US treasuries, stocks, property, etc. on-chain too. Altogether, there are tens of trillions worth of assets existing in the real world right now that could be put on-chain, and the benefits of doing so are huge. On-chain assets can be completely customized because they're fundamentally just smart contracts that you can program to act in any way you want. Every transaction will be instant, which compared to TradFi transactions, which notoriously, especially the cross-border ones, can take ages to occur, is another huge benefit. You're able to get much more liquidity since those assets now have access to a global market and much more. Take a look at what the CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager worth like $10 trillion, has to say about tokenization.
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities about bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we could customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets.
But what many people overlook is just how fast this can happen. Like you saw in the intro, the CEO of Chainlink, who's been working alongside major banks and asset managers for years on tokenization, believes this.
Real-world assets will surpass the total value of cryptocurrencies over the next 1 to 3 years.
So how do you actually profit massively from this trend? Well, you do it by buying projects that will be central in creating, managing, and trading these trillions worth of real-world assets coming on chain, and that's where CHEX comes in. They've already confirmed billions of dollars of real-world assets to be tokenized on chain using their platform by Q1 of 2025. I'll dive into the game-changing partnerships that make this possible in just a bit, but first, here's what CHEX is and why it's so valuable. CHEX is the token of the Chintai platform, which supports the entire life cycle of real-world assets. It allows for the creation of a wide range of assets, including securities, commodities, bonds, and novel assets like creator items. Creator items are things like jewelry or fine wine, etc. The platform also includes on-chain KYC for fast onboarding, built-in fiat on/off ramps, and all the key features needed to support most asset types like automated dividend and coupon payments. But there's more. Chintai built a high-performance custom real-world asset exchange with zero upfront listing fees, allowing tokens to start trading instantly. It also provides liquidity, as Chintai is paying people to provide liquidity, and because it's all on chain, these assets have access to a 24/7 global market. Chintai also takes care of custody because you do need to store these real-world assets somewhere, and you do need to store them securely. So all digital assets are securely stored with a military-grade custody solution with Chintai. And this next part is by far the hardest but most important thing. Chintai holds multiple licenses to handle real-world assets in 3 jurisdictions, including 2 licenses from the Monetary Authority in Singapore for issuance and trading of tokenized assets, including securities. A 3rd license about custody is pending in Singapore. And in case you weren't aware of just how big being regulated in Singapore is, Global Economy scored Singapore as the highest quality regulator in 2022. And Singapore has consistently remained a top 5 financial services hub, making this the perfect place for a global real-world asset project to be based in. On top of that, it also has a United States broker-dealer get an alternative trading system license through its partners, and an existing license to operate in the British Virgin Islands that is being replaced by a newly established virtual asset provider license. Basically, this is huge and makes Chintai appear incredibly legitimate to institutions wanting to tokenize loads of assets that need a platform they can trust. Now, the reason behind how they were able to get regulated was because they spent ages developing a system specifically to keep real-world assets compliant on the blockchain and proving that it works to governments. This was years in the making, and they've built a whole automated on-chain regulatory system using smart contracts, and even added an automated AI system to ensure all their tokens are completely compliant, and also that it's easy for businesses to prove that they've been compliant, with things like audits being a huge headache for many companies. They've also built out super efficient KYC systems, and once again, this is all verified and trusted by the best regulators on earth. All the major institutions trust, once again, the Singaporean government. And that, in combination with the fact that the Chintai platform has everything else all together in one place, making it a one-stop shop, easy to use platform for everything real-world asset based, means this has mainstream potential in my opinion. Now, there are many more details I could go into, but I think this gives you an overview as to just how much work went into CHEX and how much work is needed to actually make a good real-world asset platform in general. CHEX has been building this since like 2018, so keep in mind that when you see newer real-world asset platforms pop up claiming to be the real deal, you know, it takes time to do this. And the team behind Chintai is incredibly rare for just how long they've stayed in the real-world asset space and built this project out. But what will truly allow for CHEX to dominate is something called white labeling, which means other companies can easily use the Chintai platform as their backend for their own platform. For example, Allo.xyz, the largest real-world asset marketplace, integrated Chintai to avoid the hassle of building their own regulated platform. I expect many more companies to follow suit, given how difficult and time-consuming it is to get the regulation and all the technology in place that Chintai has. But that's just scratching the surface. The real game changer is the level of partnerships this project has secured. Chintai estimates that it will tokenize 150 to 300 million assets on chain by the end of Q4 2024 and $2 billion worth of assets by the end of Q1 of 2025. And in a recent AMA event, it was confirmed that 70% of Chintai's growing client pipeline remains under NDAs, with only 30% being publicly confirmed. For the publicly confirmed partnerships, there's a bunch. So we already went over Allo. Bled Augustine is an investment bank with billions of assets under management, and yeah, that is another one. SDAX is another big one. You can pause the video right here and go down the list. But the game changer is the 70% of clients who are under NDAs. There are approximately 36 undisclosed clients with NDAs in place, including an unnamed $90 billion stealth entity in the UAE issuing a pilot oil bond valued between 150 to 350 million with recurring issuances, an unnamed client issuing collectible whiskey, an unnamed fund management company using the private automated market maker in Chintai's regulated exchange for wealth fund liquidity provision, including on-chain fund record keeping. Chintai also recently mentioned its partnership with Ernst & Trust, DBS, and Passion Venture Capital. Chintai's CEO also announced a partnership with Coinbase to distribute real-world assets issued by Chintai to Coinbase accredited and institutional customers on Base. They also confirmed a joint marketing partnership with Ernst & Young, which has global revenues of $50 billion US. They confirmed a real-world asset collaboration with BlackRock, Vanguard, SS&C, and Northern Trust during an interview. And you can verify all of this. I'll leave a link to this website in the description down below. Chintai has also collaborated with Goldman Sachs, Standard Chartered, Interactive Brokers, GAM Investments, Highwind Financial Holding Group, and the Ascent Group. There has been other collaborations with several foreign funds, exchanges, private banks, and asset managers, including LGT Private Banking, UBP, the Azimut Group, Temasek, and Northern Trust, plus a recent event with Schroders, HSBC, and Philips Central. So they've got billions of assets confirmed to be onboarded by Q1 of 2025, and they're in the talking/early stages with asset giants like BlackRock, who we know are also looking to get into the tokenization space. Now, if you thought that was big, wait until you see how the CHEX token fits into this and the genius behind its tokenomics. So every single action on the Chintai platform needs the CHEX token. It's basically the equivalent of ETH on Ethereum. You need it to do transactions. Even when other websites like Allo use Chintai as their backend, they still need to use the CHEX token to perform actions like trading or creating assets. For the tokenomics, all the tokens have been issued, no more will ever be released, so there is zero inflation. And in fact, there's deflation, as 5% of the value generated by Chintai will be allocated to purchasing CHEX tokens from the open market and permanently removing them from circulation. You can also stake your CHEX to earn fees the platform generates too. So CHEX isn't just a useless token the Chintai team just created like many other tokens in the market these days. This is genuinely needed to use Chintai, meaning it should rise with the adoption of the Chintai platform. So this brings me to my price prediction for CHEX. With it having a clear roadmap to onboard billions of dollars of value in the next few months, making it one of the largest real-world asset protocols in the space. Once again, Ondo only has about $600 to $700 million in total value locked. CHEX will have billions by Q1 of 2025. That, in combination with the fact that I think the real-world asset sector in general could be one of the main upcoming narratives, I think this probably has a decent chance of reaching a few $billion in market cap. Now, over the last 8 years, after picking many 100x plus gainers, I found that giving exact price predictions is pretty useless. No one can predict exactly where these altcoins are going to go, so at around the few $1 billion range is probably as accurate as a price prediction I can come up with in my head if everything goes right with this coin. Navigating the crypto markets alone is overwhelming, and picking the right altcoins or knowing when to sell can make or break your portfolio. That's where the K Crypto Hub comes in. It's not just about picking one coin, it's about staying ahead of the game in a constantly changing market. If you join, you'll get real-time trade alerts, access to my full portfolio, and constant Bitcoin and general market updates alongside insights that have helped me and my team earn millions. Our success speaks for itself, so our trades have earned us top spots on the Bybit leaderboards pretty regularly, and many of you watching my channel for a while also know that in general I've called many 100x's in the past. I prefer keeping this group small and exclusive, so I'll be raising the price as more people join. If you found value in this video, then just imagine the advantage you will have with direct access to everything me and my team are doing to profit from crypto in real time. Join today, and if you don't see the value, don't worry, as the group is still pretty cheap and you can cancel your membership anytime. Don't wait until it's too late. Click the link below to secure your spot in the K Crypto Hub, and don't risk missing out on this bull run by trying to go it alone. I'll see you soon.